Coach, we have to start with the Honey Badger. What can you say about JG Pageau?
How do you know we're calling him the Honey Badger? Well, 4 goals. That's absolutely sick. It's not just 4 goals. It's the tying goal. It's the overtime one. But, it couldn't happen to a better person. He's just so liked by his peers. And, a guy that plays in the NHL at that size, first of all, that's unbelievable. But to be able to do what he does every night, you have to respect the man. You got to respect the player and everything he brings to the game and to our group. And when you ask players who they want to play with, the number one name that always comes it's Pageau. It doesn't matter if it's an offensive player, defensive player. That's always the name that comes up. And today's just one of more of these nights where you know why everybody wants to play with this guy. It's not just a big heart. It's not just a lot of character. He's a good hockey player, but he's smart, and that's why he's able to play the way he does. And he's had a great two-way game all year, and he's had to, he scored 22 goals last year. He's the first one to accept this year to be shutting down the top players in the league, and he's done that. And today we needed some providence to come our way, and I guess he definitely was a big man today.
Obviously not the 60-minute effort that you wanted, but what can you say about your team's resiliency, the way they came back, especially after what seemed to be a couple deflating goals when they got back?
It wasn't the effort. That's not the problem today. The problem today is our puck management, whether it's on our power play where we gave them 2 goals just because we shot it around and they took off. That's our puck management. And a lot of instances where we turned it over at their blue line, so they transition the puck, which is lethal against them. And some of our breakouts where, we didn't handle the puck really well. And that happens. It's one of those days. I don't think we were nervous today. I don't think it's just one of those days. It happens. And at that moment, you got the choice. You lay down and you hope that time passes by and your shame goes away, or you just get up and find a way, and that's what we've done all year. I think the players have made it a choice all year to reload and rebound from one 10-minute after another, from doing great or doing badly, and I think that's what our team has done all year. So what we did tonight is obviously impressive, but at the same time, we had it against the Bruins. We were trailing 3-1 after 2 periods there, and everybody thought we were dead at that point too. So. It's just the players' character, the resiliency, and believing in what they do. And that, if you looked at the score at some point, we had given, it was 2 goals on each side, 5-on-5. We had just given them 2 goals on our power play, so we just knew that 5-on-5 we could keep up. But we also knew it was an ugly day. It was one of those days, so the solution was to get ugly goals. If it's going to be an ugly day, and then it's going to be ugly goals that we'll need, and that's what we focused on.
Able to provide an update on Clark MacArthur?
Yeah, he was something he had last game. He had something last game, and he aggravated it today. So it's upper body. So he was already feeling better after. So we'll see in the next days.
Coach, un match de 4 buts pour Jean-Gabriel Pageau, dont celui en prolongation. Je sais si vous voulez me parler de sa performance lors du match de ce soir.
C'est complètement fou, là. La vérité, c'est quand tu réussis premièrement à marquer 4 buts n'importe quand dans une saison, c'est tout un exploit, mais de le faire en série ou de le faire aussi avec le but égalisateur à 6 contre 5 à la fin. Puis après ça, le refaire en supplémentaire. Regarde, c'est sûr que dans sa vie, je suis pas mal sûr que c'est son match le plus marquant de sa vie. Mais je pense que c'est marquant aussi pour nos partisans. Nos partisans étaient là tout le match avec tellement d'enthousiasme. Ils nous ont pas lâchés. Puis on l'a vraiment ressenti. Puis en fin de 3e, puis en supplémentaire, là, je pense que quand tu es fatigué, l'extra énergie qui peut venir des partisans, on l'a vraiment senti.
Si on peut parler du match en tant que tel, 5 buts de chaque côté, un peu un match de fou, comment est-ce que vous avez évalué la performance de toute l'équipe au complet?
Ben c'était ça, c'était un match de fou. C'est le genre de match là, que tu échappes des rondelles, tu fais des jeux, il n'y a rien qui fonctionne. Puis ça arrive. Puis ce qu'on s'est dit toute l'année, c'est qu'il va y en avoir des matchs comme ça, puis il faut avoir la capacité de le voir, de ne pas se frustrer, et puis de trouver une façon de passer à travers. Puis je pense que c'est exactement ce qu'on a fait encore ce soir. On savait que c'était laid. C'est excitant pour les partisans, mais pour un entraîneur et pour une équipe qui est habituée à avoir de la constance dans ce qu'on fait, on voyait bien que c'était pas beau aujourd'hui, mais à la place de se dire que regarde, c'est fini, c'est pas beau aujourd'hui, On va gagner en jouant une game qui est pas belle, mais qui est efficace. Et puis c'est ce qu'on a réussi à faire.
Guy, over here.
Yes.
Are you guys still underdogs in this series?
Well, we didn't look like the big dogs with 4 minutes left in the game. I can tell you that. So you know what it is? It's the next game. Today was one game. The next game is just, again, we start back at zero. They're home. Their fans are going to be exalted and ready to cheer, and they're going to be desperate. They're going to be totally desperate. So, I mean, they're Stanley Cup contenders, so I don't think they're not a Stanley Cup contender anymore. They're going home being Stanley Cup contenders, and we have to manage that.
Are you Stanley Cup contenders?
Sorry?
Are you guys Stanley Cup contenders?
We're contending every game to win a game. How's that? Every game we want to win, but beyond that we haven't looked ever. So we're not going to start to do that right now. We've been saying it since day one in training camp. I've never changed my approach. We've never looked at standings the whole year except the last 3 games, and our philosophy and our approach will definitely not change, especially playing a team like that at home.
Key, I just want to follow up on MacArthur because when you say upper body, we always wonder if there's any issues with his head.
No, it started last game, so he had an issue last game, so it just aggravated it today. So
It's basically just day to day for you.
day to day.
When you have those 2 young guys on defense, the 2, Harper and Clayson, are you really trying to avoid the matchup against their big guys, or has it got to the point now where you're less concerned about that? I'm talking about going into New York.
No, it's because the problem is they have big guys on every line. So it's not like, okay, you're playing against Crosby and that's the guy, and well, even then you got Crosby and you got Malkin and so on. That's the strength that these guys have. The Rangers have good players on every line. And if you looked at it, you'd like to match every line, but you can't. So at some point, every one of our lines has to be able to play against anybody. And especially when we lost Mac, then we didn't really have any lines anymore. I juggled them around and try to find some connections between the players, just like last game. So I did the same thing again tonight. So it's the same on defense. They've played on the road in Boston against Marchand. Not because we want to, but because, obviously when the opponent sees that they're on the ice, they know that they're younger guys, so of course they try to target those guys sometimes. And it's just, who are their guys? Nash is on one line, Zuccarello was on the other one. Like, hey, they got someone every line. The Grabner's going to get his breakaway for sure, and he's on a different line. So at some point, everybody's got to be able to play against anybody, or else there's no way we can get through this.
Did Harper take another step today?
Oh, I thought he played it great. I mean, he made some unbelievable savant plays, and he's had some great shots on net that gave us something there. He's just been unbelievable. Like that's why I don't see him as a young guy now. It's not like you bring in a guy from junior, had a few months in the American League and comes up. This guy's went through the grind of the American League, and it wasn't just this year. So he's really built himself up into a solid player, and his size is great, the way he defends, but his poise with the puck is really impressive. To make the plays he's making under that type of pressure right now, you can't help but being impressed. And Clayson's such a hard-working guy that he's been doing so good for us now that's where our quality depth and the development of those players through the American League or through us this year has made a big difference for us.
What does Pageau have in common with the honey badger?
Well, you know what a honey badger is. Honey badger's look it up. Fearless animal. Probably the most fearless animal on earth. So it doesn't care. It'll take on anything. So that's what Pager is.